This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with the acclaimed singer, poet, critic, actor. He does it all, Nathaniel Rosenthalis. But before we get to our interview, here is a sneak peek at him reading some of his amazing poetry.
Facing the harbor. He was looking out a window in a room he had agreed to. What then, he said, let a few more in? He saw the people in the sun were each a chain link, where he was, and said, oh, to be seen through. Moving forward was attached. He heard a man call back that a wave was a dazzle. No, he thought, it's a motion of the done with, set off by the flatter land, where anyway one lives. The harbor's low backing made him feel that air. He recognized the view was everywhere. A boy going by through his voice and sang, only then did I see what he was. Oh, he thought, to be led on by the difference. He swore he heard a boy sing out loud, as if to him, you'll only be small, ever since.
Well, hello, Nathaniel. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm doing so much better now that I'm speaking with you, Mr. Renaissance Man. Listen, where were you born and when did you realize that you had not only a knack for the poetry, but such a beautiful singing voice?
I was born in Wilmington, Delaware, and I grew up, my first love was dancing, actually. I was a very serious dance student for a long time, and then I kind of fell into some regional children's musical theater, and then I started doing children's parts in regional operas, and then I kind of took off with poetry in high school, left singing behind for a bit, then was very single-minded about poetry, got a master's degree, published some books, and I've come back to singing in the past few years, and
I love
a
how
whirlwind.
nonchalantly you say things like, part of some operas as a kid. And then I got my master's in poetry because why the F not? Oh yeah, I published a few ditties. I just decided to, pick up the singing thing again. No, I'm not making fun of you. You're actually incredibly humble in why I'm saying that. And you have so many skill sets. And, when I think about you, Nathaniel, and what I love about what you're doing is it's kind of like me thinking about the young Nathaniels out there who might feel like they need to pigeonhole themselves into one discipline. But the fact that you can actually do it all individually and collectively. Do you know what I mean?
I do. And the young Nathaniels, the young Susies, the young Camerons out there, the only reason I was able to start, I haven't stopped singing, but the reason why I'm doing it professionally again is because I started going to therapy last year. And then this summer I worked with a creativity coach, and we did a lot of talking about the kind of ideas that I'd internalized about myself starting from a young age, that I was too gay to really do this. Well, I wasn't 6 feet tall, huge leading man. So how could I ever sing on a stage? There were all these ideas that as a kid and as a teenager, I internalized that I had to work through to give myself permission to express.
That's amazing, Nathaniel. This has been a time, I think, for a lot of people. We've been forced to kind of face our inner child and check in with them. I know for me, having sung professionally for 20 years and then not perform for a while, and then because I'm a professional director, which is my bliss. But it's so interesting you mentioned that. So I'm going to be a little vulnerable and say that it was through therapy as well that I almost felt like to become a director, I had to stop singing. But then I realized that when I stopped singing, I stopped releasing a lot of important emotion. And so in just me singing on my own time, it was able to kind of activate even more creative ideas as a director. So I think that's so beautiful that through the work, you were able to reconnect with your inner child and say you're okay and you're enough.
Yeah, and to not let old ideas about myself stop me from discovering new ones, which sounds like what you did. You did a pivot towards the directing, and then you're like, actually, I still need the singing, and that they're in conversation. It's an inner continuum.
And on top of that too, I mean, you look at even everything that you've done, everything from your dancing to your singing to your poetry to your back to singing, they can all live in the same pot as tools in one tool belt.
That's absolutely
And,
right.
like when I'm in a room now with, these like, Tony winning actors, I can have a conversation with them through music because I've been downstage center at Carnegie Hall. I know what it's like. You, as a poet, as a storyteller, you're a storyteller and you're a creator, right? And I mean, do you feel like that as a storyteller, you're able to, whatever hat you're wearing, actually wear multiple ones and you can do so unapologetically now?
Yeah, I feel very comfortable with process. I feel
Mm,
comfortable with I mean, something I feel like I learned from poetry is how to love spending a lot of time alone in solitude and feel constantly renewed by that, and
mm.
how easy discipline actually can be, provided that certain material circumstances are met. Like, I'm not hungry, I have an okay place to live, and I've got, I might be making less money, but I've got time. And I think writing lots of different books over the years has made me very comfortable with trial and error. And
Mm.
trial and error, I think, is also what I'm doing when I'm singing. I'm not worried about sounding perfect. I have to relax and let my instinct take over and make the decisions. And then I can record it and go back and make adjustments and use the technical mind. But I always have to feel comfortable, like almost like falling slow motion backwards into my very, very large sense of self, which is uh, really just about tapping into the unconscious that everyone has. Everyone has that. It's just whether or not um, you're given resources and training and good feedback as you're growing up to trust that you have that.
Well, I think also what you're talking about, Nathaniel, is the fact that you chose to do the work. You
Mm-hmm.
chose to dig into maybe some uncharted, vulnerable, scary territories, and you didn't face it and work against it. You moved through it. And on top of that, I think what you're talking about is the power of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping it down to those simple three things that you mentioned, and then moving through it and maybe leaning into, dare I say, that within the imperfection is perfection.
100%. I mean, perfection is a judgment against the living. That's a quotation from a long poem from Anne Lauterbach, called "Or to Begin Again." And I think that even that phrase "or to begin again" is like something that um, gives me a lot of pleasure and reassurance, and like, oh yeah, I can just do it again. I can just do it again. I can just start again. I can try it this way. I can try it that way. Um, and that's where humility comes in, and becomes crucial to making art over a long period of time.
That's right.
Like, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not
That's
trying to
right.
like become famous and make $1 million. I'm not trying to validate myself in that way. I'm just trying to validate myself through making art, sharing with other people, making art with other people, making art by myself, singing on stage. Like, I just I only have 2 shows left for my current show. It's an off-Broadway sci-fi dystopian rock musical, and it's been a roller
What's it
coaster
called and
to be
where is
doing
it?
it. It's called Of a Lifetime. It's at the Actors Temple. Um, it's a really zany, off the walls musical. It's kind of like Rocky Horror meets Doctor Who.
I love it.
Um, and yeah, just being able to show up and make art with the cast and to connect to them as humans, like that gratitude. Like, I'm grateful every time I can step out on that stage, because for 15 years I was writing poetry really diligently and getting it published. Yeah, but it was like mostly solitude. And
Yeah. To connect, to
yeah.
connect. And I think we all want to connect now more than ever. Well, listen, Nathaniel, I could speak with you forever. I'm so happy that you're joining this new exciting app, because 600 interviews later over the past 6 months, I've spoken with artists of all disciplines.
Wow.
Never one quite like you. I think you have a lot to offer to this world that's obviously evident in your success, but also as you continue to not take anything lightly. And again, the thing that just keeps coming to me is, Nathaniel, you are doing the work every day and making the choice to move forward
Yeah.
through the pain, the trauma, the grief toward light. And it's incredibly inspiring. And um, I'm grateful that we're connected now.
Yeah, me too. This is awesome.
Thank you.